Welcome back, this is LukewarmHoliday. I'm going to be showing off some Reborns and mostly just doing a self-critique. There's a lot of these matches where I think there are some pretty good come-from-behind situations to point out, as well as I'm just going to harshly critique myself. So first off, raw sub is probably your preferred way of confirming that, to be honest, because it gives you a clean 130. Whereas if you cancel, it's not going to give you much. It might actually give you less. In EX versus 2, it gives you less for canceling. So it's a good habit to just be comfortable hitting that thing raw, because it'll give you a nice clean amount of damage. That was a great block from Pompadude. You have to be careful charging CSA so close to people, because I could have continued harassing Pompadude if I hadn't had CSA charged. But once I got it charged, I couldn't keep pursuing him. Also, back turn main is almost never preferable to doing side flip into 2A because you maintain momentum doing cannon 2A. But it was nice, quick, and it got the job done, so it works. At mid-range, it's you're perfectly fine charging CSA. Show Infinity actually charges CSA more. Should have hung back and tried to block a hit to get my burst instead of push for damage, but doesn't matter too much. I'm really trying to not get hit because I don't want to give up burst. I want to get 3 bursts. And I managed to have it run out right before I die, so I get almost a half a bar just from dying. I panicked because I thought he techs out of my 6B, but I just got a sub, and you can see how important it is to get optimal combos because I did 99 damage. Whoop-de-doo. A 6B combo could have killed him even in E-burst, but instead I just get 99 damage. Just getting right in his vector when he's in cannon mode and poking him. So, anyway, so my partner was low, so I got really greedy at trying to kill JU, because if JU's on his last life, he can't play anywhere near as aggressively, safely. So now I have free reign to just only harass Pompadude and keep him in check to hopefully help Sky last as long as possible. And even though Sky dies, I get them both in the kill range. And then I immediately tried to make a play on JU, who's probably waiting, trying to think of a way to try to close the game on Sky. Just don't give him any time to think. I could have approached that better. I kind of just boosted straight into him and Vernier'd. That was not the best option. And those are the kind of things you have to, like, constantly grill yourself over. But Sky's funnels ended up catching Reborns. But yeah, if you ever knock down Reborns in cannon mode, you need to try to make an Oki play on it. Like, he's so vulnerable when he's in that. Got lucky with. Oh, that felt so good. We both get up to each other, we both step, and I do the most delayed CSA. Use 6B to get into the vector for the sub to catch his escape route. That would have been so bad if he had a Gurobi ammo. That was a problem of timing. Boy, his sub hit and mine didn't. Got clipped by GPO3 because he was L formationing. Good for him. JU's been improving a lot. And I just calmly tried to circle strafe around JU, wait for him to land, and get that landing punish. And even though I got punished, main into Gagas is so fast that you don't really get an opportunity to counterplay. Very fortunate he got clipped by the side sub, immediately do a back turn main to get him on the ground. This guy bailed me out for that Gurobi, and now I have a perfectly timed burst. I'm mostly happy I already got the damage, so I'm not really looking to push in, because I want to focus on getting 3 bursts above all else. I think eventually that's going to make me too predictable, that I'm just going to hang around and take the low damage option unless it's obvious. But It's much better to be focusing on 3 bursts. Especially when your block game is not very good to get a bunch of excess bursts. Overheat 2A. Overheat swap 2A swap main is really good at stalling your landing because people are ready to punish you a lot. And they'll just take the hit, not expecting you to have anything left in you because you're overheated. People will smell blood in the water, but they don't expect you to fight back. Now, I botched this closer, but fortunately I land directly on top of him with a sub. And no matter which way he fleed, that sub would be shooting him directly at his back, so he'd have to input another step to avoid it. The strongest place you could possibly be is exactly where they just were. Because no matter which direction they chose, you're shooting directly down their back. Back is in their backside, not their back suit. Another standard opener. Let's see what happens. I wait. I must have waited out. I didn't like my positioning. And Pompadour was a little impatient that I got away and managed to run straight into a 2A. Because he wants to try to make up that gap because he had an advantage. There's so much you can gain by just sitting and waiting an extra little bit, maybe using a tiny little amount of boost. And here becomes the beginning of me trying to finish things off and overheat with a melee combo and eating GPO3 Gurobi, which is basically exactly what should happen. I should get more comfortable just canceling in the cannon 2A and trying to block. Because I can do main cannon 2A, transform in the cannon or in the MS mode, and the recovery is incredibly fast. I could actually block that Gurobi in time. But brain's still autopiloting to look for melee confirms because they're more damage. Very fortunate sub. I'm kind of running away with this game. I ignored Pompadour, who was coming directly on top of me, but it didn't matter. I wanted another life and I wanted another burst. And now we have double bursts, and even before we even get to leverage that, he's already gone. Trying to think of what I'm primarily focusing on with Reborns, because I've been focusing on burst quite a lot, making sure I at least get some sort of damage out, and then maybe getting more greedy first or second life, because you don't really, I subscribe that you really should not go for greed. You should just keep taking the safe option until you have a lead, and then you can start acting chaotic. And a lot of people aren't going to be aware enough to know the difference between you only playing safe when you're ahead and starting to get more greedy when you're on the defense. And if they begin to trust that too much, that can also become catastrophic, because if they super trust that you're only going to do safe options and they do get really greedy, you can just run up 6 BM and get like a clean almost 300 damage on them. But it's always better to get used to playing by the book and make them expect that you're going to play by the book primarily. I'm looking for an opportunity to burst. It was a little ballsy to take that landing, but I'm really looking for something greedier. Like, I've had so many opportunities to burst now, but I'm like, I want the golden opportunity. I'm behind. So I'm going to play as safe as possible. And I'm getting punished for it because I just took that Gurobi Fang, so now I really don't want to burst. Burst anyway. Instantly die. See? I was like, well, that looked like a bad decision, and guess what? It was. I'm glad, in retrospect, I can call myself out like that. But I don't think it was wrong to try to look for the greed. It's just, after I took that extra hit from Pompadour from the Groby Fangs, I really should have just saved it for a second life burst and full bursted. You can play so stupid when you have a full burst. You can literally boost all the way across the map into overheat and then go force something on somebody. Like, force your dirtiest, highest damage possible on them. Because they're not going to have the mobility to get away from you when you full burst. You're getting your entire boost bar back, so you can just sit and wait and circle around them until they run out of boost. Shoot them with main into 5B and get like an entire comp confirmed. So they're both low, but unfortunately my back's low, so I still have to play pretty careful. And the moment someone dies, I'm going to be trying my damnedest to try to kill the other like right away. Once again, another great step CSA. Good Oki attempt, but move right out of it. Now I'm eyeing Jay really hard. I see that Pompadour spawn behind me. I don't care. I'm bursting. I'm going for it. You can actually see me starting to boost to the right when I realize Pompadour spawned behind me. Force the burst with the Gagas. Don't actually attack. Just force it with the easiest button you have. Now Pompadour's overcommitting, so I went for 6B because that's a bigger damage punish. I didn't get a full confirm off it, but you have to go for the greed when you're in the behind position. Risk reward changes quite a lot once you're on the back foot. It's also why I like matchup discussions, because even if matchups aren't the end all, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm like 7-3 against this character, like there's no hope, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But if you're like 6-4 and you know you're on the back foot, knowing you're going to be on the back foot from default might mean you're inclined to play in a way that introduces a bit more variance. I'm going to take some greedier style approaches, and that's kind of a high level way of looking at things, but I might as well expose you to it now. That when you're in the disadvantage, it's on you to try to look for greedier plays. When you're at the advantage, you really should just be playing by the book and see how they react. Because if you just play by the book, a lot of people will make their own mistakes and bury themselves in their own graves. And you definitely want to give them a chance to do that. Even if you super respect that player. That was frustrating because I got caught out so hard. Pompadour kept pushing. I avoided everything Pompadour had. And then JU just comes in with the super laser. And they could get away with that because Sky took a bit of damage, so they knew he'd be a little afraid. I do not want to take damage here. Now this is one of the worst situations. I first life bursted when my partner died second. So we're both going in to try to kill both of them to make sure that they can't clean this up easily. I immediately get got by JU, who's hunting for blood. This guy tries to make a play on Reborns. Alright, now I'm just going to hang back until Sky is about dead. Just keep throwing out as much spam as I can. And now that I'm like, okay, Sky's pushing on Pompadour, let's throw out my sub AC, and the sub actually catches him for the win. But that game is like basically perfect because we were so far behind and we instantly get the double kill and put them in a precarious position so they can't take advantage of the lead they have on me and the overcost. Because if they didn't die at the same time, at least like JU could have been playing very bully towards me with Reborn support and probably have finished me off twice pretty comfortably. I notice as these matches are going on, I'm not actually approaching with my fangs as much. which is a bad habit. I'm losing confidence in winning that 1v1, and I'm just kind of choosing not to do it, which isn't good. I need to stay in there and make sure I'm threatening the situations. I don't know if I even want to give myself shit for that 6B, because if he was a second later on that 2A, I would have gotten a huge confirm. Pump self-defense CSAs are good. But I think I'm also being the more aggressive one in this set. And I think that's why I start getting hit more. Because I'm kind of taking situations much longer than I need to, when I need to just land. And Jeyu's been very good at covering him, so I really should have just chilled. Why do anything else when Gaga do trick? I love that, when you're in cannon mode and you burst and you just start laying out 1,000 charge shots. That could have been a kill, but unfortunately I got cut by Sky. I have no idea what hit Pompadour there, maybe a micro missile. Or something from Eidos, I don't know. That was not the way to avoid those missiles, and I somehow slipped between both of them. That was kind of bullshit. Man, my block game sucks. I managed to kill Pomp, but GPO3 is throwing the entire kitchen at me. Gagas are so good as an attacking button because, once again, we're behind. I'm looking to make dumb plays again. That time, Pompadour's like, no, I'm just gonna CSA you, stop. Keep me honest. I wanted to fastball with that, but it didn't work. I get a pretty good punish on that though, and I get away from this shit. I have to be careful with those out of angles, but I am keeping them focused on me when they really want to kill Sky, but I'm getting them to look at me. So even if some of these things are overplays, they're still helping my partner both get away and contribute. That is it for me today. Reminder in the last match, what I said about making sure you take the higher risk plays, the high risk, high reward plays when you need us, when you need it to win. Anyway, see you next time.
僕は超越したんだよカビスラインファング死にこの距離は届くと楽しんでいきます君の動きは単純すぎるそれが全力かい逃がせないじゃないハムカウント当たれ当たれボーンズガンダムそこだインファングさあどう撃僕は超越したんだよカビスリボーンズキャノン逃がせないこのりそんな攻撃その力でハムカウントそこだやるじゃないやるじゃないマイクロミサイルリボーンズガンダム死にたいかどこに逃がさないその力でハムカウントやるじゃないこの距離は届くその気はないよ出力最大落とすさあどうで当たってくれさあリボーンズキャノン当たらないかわしても僕は構わないドールフィートを下げるリボーンズキャノン撃って撃って撃ちまくる僕は超越したんだよカビスこの機体の機動性リボーンズキャノン僕を勝たせなかった君たちの負けだ人類の人間そよりこの距離でチャンスだ楽しんだその力でハムカウント僕は超越僕は構わないんだよ君たちの負けだよこの距離超越したんだよカビスラバリアブルライン極限進化僕は超越したんだよカビスラ死にたい想像主さ逃がすかどうでファングこの後は強いぞ俺はマイクロミサイルまとめてきたらないよどうで頼むぞこの距離は届くやるじゃん型をつけてやる楽しんでいるぞリボーンズガンダム頼むぞお願いごめんリボーンズガンダム君から否定されるだなんて行け行くぞ楽しんでいさあ恐れたまえリボーンズガンダムその自由は君たちのものだ楽しんでいるといいさあ命乞いでもするためこれで世界は僕のものだ